The story takes place in 1957. A car company inspects several vehicles, including a striking red car. While checking it, an inspector places his hand inside the bonnet, which suddenly slams shut, severing his fingers. A doctor treats him, and everyone assumes it was an accident. Later, another worker feels an eerie pull toward the car, gets inside, and lights a cigarette. As he sits, music plays on the radio, making him uneasy. When the company prepares to close, someone notices something unusual in the car. Upon opening the door, they find the man dead, leaving everyone in shock and fear. 20 years later, Dennis arrives at his best friend Arnie's house to pick him up. Arnie, still playful and childish, rushes out, spilling his belongings. Apologizing, he jumps into the car, and they head to college. On the way, Arnie rambles, but Dennis reminds him to focus on dating. Arnie dismisses every girl Dennis suggests, criticizing their looks. At college, Dennis, popular and social, hears about a stunning new girl and is immediately intrigued. Meanwhile, Arnie struggles with his locker until Dennis helps him. Later, Dennis realizes Arnie is missing and learns he's in the lab getting into trouble. Rushing there, he finds Arnie being bullied. The leader mocks Dennis before pulling a knife. A fight breaks out, but a professor intervenes. When the bully blames Arnie, Dennis tells the professor to check his pocket, revealing the knife. The professor warns that disciplinary action will be taken against them both before walking away. As they left, the bully, Jackson, threatened Arnie before walking away. Later, Arnie's broken glasses were patched with tape. While driving, he suddenly asked Dennis to stop and walked toward an old abandoned house. There, he found a rusted red car and became excited, saying it was once world-class. An old man appeared and offered to sell it for $300, claiming it belonged to his late brother. Dennis was suspicious and tried to talk Arnie out of it, but Arnie was determined. The man, eager to get rid of the car, ignored Dennis's concerns and finalized the sale. At home, Arnie's mother was furious, shocked that he had spent money on a junk car. She blamed Dennis, but he said he had tried to stop Arnie. Frustrated, Arnie argued that it was his choice and drove off to a garage, with Dennis following. At the garage, smoke poured from the car, annoying an old mechanic who told them to move it outside. Another mechanic warned Dennis that the previous owner had committed suicide, and the car had eerie rumors. But he advised not to tell Arnie. The garage allowed Arnie to work on the car, but wouldn't assist, making him pay for everything. Later, Dennis asked why Arnie was so obsessed with the car. Arnie laughed, saying he had finally found something more broken than himself. Dennis let him be. The next morning, Arnie got serious about fixing the car. The mechanic, impressed by his dedication, offered him a part-time job after school. Arnie eagerly accepted and continued working, forming a deep connection with the car. Meanwhile, at college, Dennis spotted a new girl sitting alone in the library. Encouraged by his friends, he approached her and invited her to a rugby match and party. She politely declined, leaving Dennis embarrassed as his friends teased him. That night, Dennis visited Arnie and was shocked by his transformation. Arnie had ditched his nerdy look, acting cold and distant. His mother, also confused, revealed that the car's previous owner had suffocated inside it. Dennis, disturbed, sought answers from an old man, who revealed the car's dark history. The previous owner had changed after getting the car, but his wife and son later died mysteriously inside it. Despite getting rid of it, the car always returned. Dennis, horrified, rushed to the garage, where he found the once-wrecked car fully restored. When he tapped the glass, eerie music played, sending shivers down his spine. The next day, during Dennis's rugby match, Arnie arrived in his gleaming car, shocking everyone, especially his bullies. Even more surprising, a mysterious new girl, Jenny, stepped out of the car with him. Distracted, Dennis lost focus, tripped, and suffered a serious injury, landing in the hospital. Arnie visited him, casually handing him a joke book and acting unfazed. When Dennis asked how he got close to Jenny, Arnie smugly credited it to his car, Christine. That night, Arnie and Jenny went to an open-air theater. As they grew close, Jenny suddenly pulled away, accusing him of obsessing over the car. She asked if he loved her or the car more. Laughing, Arnie joked that she was only upset because the car had a girl's name, Christine. As Arnie stepped out in the rain to fix a minor issue with Christine, Jenny choked on her food inside the car. She panicked as the doors and windows refused to open. A bystander smashed the window and saved her just in time. Shaken, Jenny took Arnie home and lashed out, saying she was done with both him and his car. Arnie coldly told her to leave and return to Christine. When the car initially refused to start, he commanded it to, and the engine roared to life, deepening his eerie connection to it. That night, Jackson and his gang broke into the garage and vandalized Christine. The next morning, Arnie discovered the destruction and erupted in rage. Jenny tried to calm him, but he violently lashed out at her. At home, he blamed his mother, and when his father slapped him for his behavior, Arie grabbed his throat, shocking his parents. Later, he returned to the garage, whispering to Christine, vowing revenge. As if responding, the car miraculously began repairing itself. Arie, grinning, asked if they were ready. Christine revved its engine in reply. The scene then shifted to one of the gang members who had trashed Christine. He was walking home when he suddenly felt uneasy. Sensing something was off, strange noises echoed around him, but no one was in sight. Soon, he sensed something was wrong as strange noises followed him. Then, he saw Christine, fully restored. Terrified, he ran into a narrow alley, thinking he was safe. But Christine crushed itself to fit through, inching closer. His screams echoed as the car relentlessly took its first revenge. The next morning, Arie visited Dennis in the hospital, acting overly cheerful and drinking beer. Annoyed, Dennis reminded him they were in a hospital. Arie casually mentioned that a gang member had died the night before. Finding it amusing, Dennis warned him to be careful, but Arie dismissed it, claiming no one could harm him. As he left, a police officer approached, informing him that a student had been killed by a car matching Christine's. Suspicious, the officer inspected the car, but it was pristine, no damage at all. When told the dying victim had identified Christine, Arie smirked and denied involvement, insisting the car never left his possession. Later, as the officer questioned people close to Arie, many expressed unease about him and his car. Jenny, in particular, seemed disturbed. Arie, unfazed, told the officer not to arrest him based on vague suspicions and walked away. That night, Arie called Jenny, speaking calmly about resolving their issues. But his temper quickly flared, leading to another fight. His personality had shifted. He was aggressive and unpredictable. Frustrated, he hung up. Meanwhile, Jackson and his friend noticed a car following them. To test it, Jackson sped up and braked suddenly. But the car stopped just in time. Realizing the danger, they pulled over at a petrol station. Suddenly, a red car rammed into theirs, wrecking it. As fuel leaked from the station, the red car struck again, causing a massive fire. Jackson ran, but his friend was caught in the flames. Despite the explosion, the red car remained intact and chased Jackson down. Terrified, he screamed that it was a ghost car, but there was no escape. The car struck him, engulfing him in flames, sealing his gruesome fate. At a garage, a mechanic was startled when the automatic door opened by itself. Moments later, the same red car, now engulfed in flames, rolled inside. Alarmed, he picked up a gun, assuming it was military tech. When he opened the door, no one was inside. Curiosity overtook fear, and he sat inside the car. Instantly, the doors locked, the radio played a haunting tune, and the seat tightened, crushing his chest against the steering wheel. He struggled, but there was no escape. The next morning, Arie arrived at the garage, finding it crowded with police, including the officer he had met earlier. The officer questioned Arie about his whereabouts the previous night. Arie claimed he was home and even provided a store receipt as proof of his recent trip. The officer then revealed shocking news. The car's previous owner had been found dead inside it. Arie rushed to his vehicle, only to be stunned. It was supposed to be a burnt wreck, yet it stood in perfect condition. Worse, a dead body was inside. When he tried to approach, the inspector stopped him, saying it was under investigation. Furious, Arie had no choice but to leave. Meanwhile, Dennis, now home from the hospital, received a visit from Jenny. She warned that something was wrong with Arie and his car. 3 people who had troubled Arie were now dead, and she had narrowly escaped death herself. She insisted they had to save Arie before it was too late. Surprisingly, Dennis didn't doubt her. He already suspected something unnatural and agreed that Christine had to be destroyed. That night, Arie arrived at Dennis's house, honking outside. He invited Dennis for a drive. Struggling with his injury, Dennis used a walking stick to reach the car. As they drove, Arie, who never drank before, was now casually drinking beer. His behavior had drastically changed. Dennis questioned Arie about it, but Arie only replied that there were things Dennis still needed to see. Then, he took his hands off the wheel, letting Christine drive itself. Panicked, Dennis reached for the wheel, but Arie stopped him, insisting he was in control. When Dennis warned Arie not to speak badly about Jenny, Arie mocked her, angering Dennis. He told Arie that he had changed since getting the car. Arnie's expression darkened. He warned Dennis never to speak against Christine, or he would face consequences. Furious, he stopped the car and forced Dennis out. Dennis knew then that Christine had to be destroyed. He learned the car would be in a garage that night and planned to act. Jenny, fully convinced, supported his decision. At the garage, Dennis and Jenny found a JCB. Jenny asked if this was their best chance to destroy the car, and Dennis agreed. As they waited, Jenny went to get water from the office. Suddenly, Christine's headlights appeared. It had been watching them all along. The car charged at Jenny, who barely escaped by pulling herself onto a metal pipe. Christine missed her by inches but reversed, slamming into another car. Dennis quickly moved the JCB, blocking Christine's path and protecting Jenny. Christine then targeted the office. Jenny jumped inside just as the car crashed through the entrance, only stopping when an iron table blocked its path. The crash threw Arie out of the car, gravely injured with glass piercing his stomach. Bleeding heavily, he reached out to touch Christine one last time before dying. Dennis struggled to start the JCB, while Jenny, thinking she was safe, saw Christine come back to life. The car reversed and lunged at her, but she jumped away just in time, running to Dennis. She climbed into the JCB, shaken but relieved. Determined to end it, Dennis finally got the JCB running and used its arm to crush Christine repeatedly. Even as the wrecked car's headlights flickered, as if trying to rebuild itself, Dennis kept smashing it until it was beyond repair. The next day, Christine was taken to a junkyard. A massive machine crushed and compressed it into a small cube. Dennis and Jenny watched, certain that Christine was finally gone. As the crushed remains lay still, the radio suddenly played a haunting tune. Fear gripped Dennis and Jenny, but they soon realized it was just a passerby's radio and sighed in relief. A police inspector arrived, skeptical of their story. A possessed car killing people? It was unbelievable. He advised them to move on. Convinced the nightmare was over, they left. But as the camera lingered on the wreckage, a metal rod twitched. Again and again, Christine wasn't truly gone. The evil within her still lived. And the movie ends with this scene.